Welcome to episode 76 of 100 Days of Data. I'm Jonas, an AI professor, here to explore the foundations of data in AI with you.
And I, Amy, an AI consultant, excited to bring these concepts to life with stories and practical insights. Glad you're joining us.
Today, we're talking about Andrew Ng, the pioneer behind bringing AI education online, who made learning AI accessible to millions through Coursera's massive open online courses, or MOOCs.
Yeah, Andrew Ng changed the game by making AI education scalable, breaking down the barriers of geography, time, and cost. That's no small feat in a field that felt so exclusive just a decade ago.
Let's start with a bit of background. Andrew Ng is a computer scientist and entrepreneur best known for his work in machine learning and AI, but perhaps even more influential is his role as an educator. In 2011, he co-founded Coursera, one of the first major platforms to offer MOOCs, free online courses from top universities.
Right, and before that, Andrew was a professor at Stanford, where he taught his machine learning course to a few hundred students. But when he put that course online in 2012, it exploded. Something like 100,000 people enrolled worldwide. Suddenly, AI education wasn't limited to Stanford students or well-funded programs.
Exactly. The idea of a MOOC was revolutionary for education. It meant that anyone with a computer and internet could access high-quality learning material from experts. And Andrew's machine learning course was one of the first and most popular, setting a model for how to teach complex technical content effectively online.
And the impact went far beyond education. Companies started to see a surge in AI-literate talent. People without traditional degrees in the field could learn the basics and even advanced concepts at their own pace. I've personally worked with clients who hired team members that credited Andrew's courses for their skills.
What's interesting is that Andrew framed his course to be both technical and approachable. He introduced core machine learning concepts like supervised learning, neural networks, and support vector machines using clear explanations and practical examples rather than dense math.
That's key for business folks. You don't need to be a mathematician to understand the essence of these algorithms. For example, Andrew explains linear regression, the idea of fitting a straight line to data points to predict outcomes, which is something many managers can grasp and see applied in sales forecasting or pricing.
Yes, he excels at connecting theory with intuition, and his teaching approach inspired others in AI education. After Andrew Ng's success, dozens of MOOCs popped up in AI on platforms like edX and Udacity, creating a rich ecosystem of accessible learning.
I remember when self-driving cars and deep learning were still buzzwords for many. Thanks to these online courses, the talent pipeline grew rapidly. Automotive companies, for instance, have benefited from engineers trained partially or fully through MOOCs. It accelerated innovation.
Andrew's impact didn't stop with education. He also founded deeplearning.ai, which offers specialized courses on deep learning to further democratize the field, and Landing AI, a company helping traditional industries adopt AI technologies.
Landing AI is a great example of taking theory into practice. It helps manufacturers use AI for quality inspection and predictive maintenance, showing how knowledge from Andrew's courses can translate into real-world business value.
There's an interesting historical angle here. Before MOOCs, AI education was mainly confined to universities and expensive training programs. Access was limited, the pace slow, and geographic barriers real. Andrew Ng flipped that script by leveraging the internet as a learning equalizer.
The analogy I use is that of a library. Before, AI knowledge was like a rare book locked in a special room. Andrew built the digital library app, where anyone worldwide could check out those books instantly.
That's a neat way to put it. It aligns with the original vision of MOOCs to provide universal access to education.
Of course, online learning isn't perfect. There are challenges like engagement, retention, and the absence of hands-on mentorship that you get in a classroom. But Andrew's work has shown it's possible to scale quality learning with good course design and community support.
Absolutely. Another important thing to note is how Andrew's courses balanced technical rigor with broad accessibility. That model changed the mindset about who could become an AI practitioner. It wasn't just PhDs.
And in business, that shift means you can have a much more diverse team bringing different perspectives to AI projects. More people can contribute thoughtfully, even if they don't have a deep technical background.
One of his well-known quotes is, "AI is the new electricity." He's emphasized repeatedly the transformative power of AI across industries, which he foresaw early on, and education was the key enabler to that vision.
From healthcare, where AI helps with diagnosing diseases, to finance, where it helps improve fraud detection, and retail, where it's used for personalized recommendations, the ripple effects of building AI literacy are enormous.
Let's talk a bit about Coursera. It started as a nonprofit with Stanford professors offering MOOCs, but it quickly became a commercial platform. That shift enabled investment to build more scalable infrastructure and reach millions more learners.
And you can't talk about Andrew Ng without mentioning the global impact. His courses have students from countries all over the world, including places where AI education options were slim or non-existent. That's invaluable for global economic development.
The MOOC model has empowered lifelong learners and career changers to shift into AI and data roles without starting from scratch.
I've personally worked with clients who hired team members that credited Andrew's courses for their skills. What's interesting is that Andrew framed his course to be both technical and approachable. He introduced core machine learning concepts like supervised learning, neural networks, and support vector machines using clear explanations and practical examples rather than dense math.
That's key for business folks. You don't need to be a mathematician to understand the essence of these algorithms. For example, Andrew explains linear regression, the idea of fitting a straight line to data points to predict outcomes, which is something many managers can grasp and see applied in sales forecasting or pricing. Yes, he excels at connecting theory with intuition, and his teaching approach inspired others in AI education. After Andrew Ng's success, dozens of MOOCs popped up in AI on platforms like edX and Udacity, creating a rich ecosystem of accessible learning.
I remember when self-driving cars and deep learning were still buzzwords for many. Thanks to these online courses, the talent pipeline grew rapidly. Automotive companies, for instance, have benefited from engineers trained partially or fully through MOOCs. It accelerated innovation.
To summarize the theoretical contribution, Andrew Ng popularized online learning for AI, leveraging MOOCs to break traditional educational barriers and create a global AI education movement.
And from the practical business side, his work directly contributed to creating a more AI-fluent workforce, accelerated innovation in companies, and enabled industries to adopt AI faster and more effectively.
Amy, want to give our listeners the key takeaway here?
Sure. If you want to understand how AI went from an academic specialty to a global phenomenon, Andrew Ng's role in democratizing education through MOOCs is a critical piece to show how technology adoption isn't just about algorithms, but also about accessible learning.
For me, the key takeaway is that knowledge sharing, especially at scale, is a foundational driver for AI's progress. Andrew Ng's vision highlights how education fuels innovation and inclusion in technology.
Next time on 100 Days of Data, we'll explore another AI pioneer, Fei-Fei Li, who helped shape how machines understand images and vision, blending computer science with human-centered design.
If you're enjoying this, please like or rate us 5 stars in your podcast app. We'd also love to hear your questions or thoughts on Andrew Ng or this episode topic. Your comments may be featured in future episodes.
Until tomorrow, stay curious, stay data-driven.